Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What is a cheat code at your job that only employees would know? We have to clock in on our phones with GPS on. I found out if I'm late I can just change the system time setting on my phone and it'll register the clock in at that time, then you can immediately change it back to automatic network time, and if you've gone back you'll see the timesheet app be updated instantly. So if I'm 10 minutes late I'll change the system time to 6 AM, clock in, then put automatic time back on and the app will say I've been clocked in for those 10 minutes. I haven't told any of my coworkers in fear of these jackasses messing it up for me. This is one of those keep your damn mouth shut situations. We had a guy would do this, leave his phone in the building on one of the housekeeper's carts and leave. So it looked like he was just moving around the whole shift. He got caught when the manager used that cart one night and found his phone. Guy had been doing it for like 2 years. Frankly, it's kind of dumb that nobody realized he wasn't there for the whole shift. Unless he only did it occasionally, I'd expect him to get caught pretty fast. We had a guy doing something like that when I worked at Walmart. He'd clock in, go home, come back for his break, clock out, clock back in, go home, clock out. Lasted a whole month before they realized he wasn't ever in the building for more than 5 minutes at a time. I worked for a large international company that would pay for meals on the road. Sometimes, when I was arriving home late at night, rather than stopping off a restaurant for dinner and wasting an hour, I would just buy a gift card for the restaurant with the corporate credit card and expense it as my meal. I used to ask for the cards in irregular amounts, i.e. $45.27 rather than round numbers to keep it seemingly legit. We were allowed to spend up to $65 for dinner, so it didn't raise flags. Then, I could enjoy a meal with my spouse at a later time. They don't ask for a receipt. When we travel, all meals at restaurants must have both the itemized and the signed receipts. Edit, till my company is stricter than I realized on travel expenses melting face. My company only requires receipts for expenses above $75, so this approach would also work at my company. When I worked for the government as a student, they gave us per diems. So instead of showing receipts they just gave us something like $75 per day to cover food. What we would do is get pizza for dinner, split it and save the leftovers for lunch. Probably made about $50 per day doing things like that. Per diem seems like the far easier way for accounting purposes for the company and better for the employee too. When booking a flight through our travel system, only the cheapest flight is marked as to green. If it's within a certain range of that flight it's yellow. It requires an explanation on why you need the more expensive flight and your higher up needs to approve manually. All other flights are red and need to be approved by even higher up management and usually get declined because you should get the green or yellow flights. If you want to book one of these red flights, because it's a better connection, better airline, more convenient time, without approval you can just set the search parameters for the departure time to exactly what the preferred flight is departing at. The system then sees it as the cheapest flight for those parameters and you can book without any further approval. Employers that make you take shitty flights are the worst. Like, I get wanting people to take the cheapest flight all else being equal but making someone layover in ORD on a flight from CLT to ATL because it's cheaper should be illegal. Especially because they're already making you travel, which in itself is not very fun to have to do. At very least they should make sure you get the best possible flight. Here's a double for you. As the IT guy, when employees needed a tech task done fast, or wanted special treatment, they'd bring me a bottle of Mountain Dew or a Payday candy bar. I used my personal rewards account to earn points when ordering office equipment. With 200 employees and an owner who liked the latest and greatest tech for himself and company, I'd rack up a truly significant amount of points quickly. I quickly figured out the employees with kids and those less fortunate, so I'd often use points to buy employees home computers and simple computer parts. Edit, wow, this blew up far more than I could have anticipated. Thank you, everyone, for your kind words and stories. You dar real MVP. If you are experiencing homelessness, do not tell an intake coordinator, social worker that you had a roof over your head the night before. It can negate your access to services, shelter. You didn't couch surf, you didn't stay with family. You slept in a park, in your car, etc. Edit, adding as an update for my second biggest piece of advice if you're facing becoming unhoused. Find any way to maintain a gym membership. You will have access to showers, charging your devices, and a third space. Planet Fitness could save your life. I'm a social worker. Can confirm, out of curiosity why. Prioritization. I worked at the library. The librarian in charge of the teen center had a policy that every rank and file employee underneath her was empowered to waive up to $50 in fines without asking permission or giving a reason. This was mostly intended to help teenagers who had lost track of some Arthur book when they were 6 and now couldn't get what they needed for high school projects. But we were at liberty to use it for whoever we wished. So, if they say no to waiving your fines at the circulation desk or any other desk, you may just get a yes in the teen center, if you're nice. I changed some adult man's whole life by doing it for him once. He didn't even ask me to. He would always come in to get graphic novels from the teen section but could only read them at the library because he owed $20 in late fees, and that was a lot of money to him. When he asked me if there was any way to get a comic sent over from another branch without placing a hold, which he couldn't do because of his fees, I just took his card and waived the fees. I saw his face change as I gave it back to him and told him what I'd done. Suddenly he was able to read at home at whatever time he wanted. I think about him a lot. Our library stopped all late fees and wiped accounts clean. It's been a year and there's been a 30% increase in books checked out and a huge reduction in lost books because people returned them knowing they weren't going to be fined. A local library in a small town I lived in offered amnesty for fines if you brought in canned goods for a food drive. 6th floor has the poop bathroom. You can poop in peace since there's like 3 people that work on that floor. Editing to clarify that those 3 people are only in the office 1 day a week and they have a bathroom closer to them on the north side of the building they always use. The far bathroom on the south side of the building is the poop bathroom, so they won't fall victim to the poop vapors. The great floor. A lot of very smart people are saying it's the best floor they've ever seen. Wait for the aggressive cat to hiss and you can squirt the liquid gabapentin in easier. I always say I am roofing my cats when I give them gabapentin, liquid or pill form. First time I gave my cat a pill she struggled as much as I expected. Second time, I expected her to run and hide as soon as I grabbed the pill bottle. Instead she ran up to me and started begging for drugs lol. I work at a casino, the cheat code is, don't gamble. BBBB but I have a system. Exclamation mark. The best part is that if you actually did have a system that worked, they'd just ban you from the casino. I used to work in IT support and if you are good enough at it, computers and other technology will magically start working when you get close to it. People will try to recreate the problems they have been dealing with for hours and will be unable to do it. When I got my new work laptop, I couldn't get it to recognize my second screen. I fought with it for a while, checked the cables, drivers, tried to reinstall, it would just not turn on at all. I asked the lady in IT to stop by my desk and look at it when she had time and she got to my desk, I plugged it in, and it turned right on and worked perfectly. She just said, "It's scared of me," and walked away. In the IT guy, on paper, we're an office of 3 people, the little DeskJet printer was acting up and refusing to print. I spanked it and told it to behave. It started printing a second later. Fear and humiliation will keep them in line. If they'll let you use your own credit card, do it. I racked up $40K in bonus cashback by using my credit card for travel in a 2-year period. They changed the policy and I was one of the only ones that was mad about it. I traveled professionally for 12 years. Between Hilton and Southwest I didn't pay a dime for a single family vacation. It was pretty sweet. I've just joined a company that has me book on my own and then submit expenses. Which card should I apply for? Doctor's office here. If you are trying to get in for a sooner appointment, call the office in the morning on days you're available. When patients cancel their appointment on the night before or the same day, we usually have it open because it's such short notice. That's your best shot at getting an appointment really soon. It often works even for providers who have wait lists going out months in advance. Same thing for testing and imaging. You have to get through first happy crying face. The call routing in most big medical systems is an absolute mess. You are totally right. I work in a huge medical system with many locations, and even my internal calls get bounced to big appointment centers if the location lines are tied up. Sometimes, calls are automatically routed off-site, creating a terrible tag game. It's a mess. I guess the real life hack is making friends with people who work front desk jobs. Lol, I promise, if you find a good one, we'll go above and beyond to get people what they need for their health. If time allows, I will happily spend an embarrassing amount of time finding the right person somewhere in our medical system to beg to get a patient seen fast. And I will do it the same for people I love and people who are difficult, all the same, because I take pride in being with nerdy problem solver. You know how 90% of the time, restarting a Windows computer fixes whatever issue you're having. Nearly all our employees will say they've restarted their computer before calling for help. We have a script we can run that shows, without them knowing, the last time they rebooted. It's almost always over a week or so. So the first thing we'll do is run another script to reboot their computer. We'll say we're running an update fix. But we aren't. We're just rebooting it. And nearly always, that fixes their issue. They think we're wizards, but in reality, we just did what they claimed to have done. I have stopped being supple. I just rebooted, Control-Shift-Escape. Your uptime is 43 days, awkward silence while I stare at them. I don't even understand why you'd lie about this. Who wants to have to deal with another person if they can just restart? I worked in a customer service type position with a recorded telephone line. You should do what you think is best, is code for, you should do that, but on a recorded line, I can't tell you to do that. Quote, a nice lady really helped me recently with an insurance quote. It took a long time and I was only planning on confirming some complicated questions, then I wanted to place the order online myself, but she'd helped so much so I asked, would it be beneficial for you if I placed this order now instead? And she paused for so long, and then said something like your quote, I'm just here to make sure you get the best service. I can't remember her exact words, but I heard everything I needed in that pause, so I followed through and purchased it over the phone.